I'd like to turn to Elisa Seeger, who is our next presenter in terms of a national newborn screening update. Thanks.
So we've come a long way in just under 5 years of testing since New York has started testing. This is the most updated map, and as you can see, all of the green states are states that are actively testing right now. We are at 10 states. The red states are states that are in the works, so that we hope will come on board in 2019. And then the blue states are states that are mobilizing efforts, so there's efforts in those states to have newborn screening added. I'm just going to take you through a little bit of a timeline and some numbers for each of the states. So New York started screening December 30th of 2013. Since then, we've screened 1,200,000 babies, and we've identified 35 males and 32 females. In Connecticut, that came on board in October 2015. They've screened 112,100 babies to date and identified 8 males and 6 females. California, which started actually testing retroactively because ALD was added to the RUSP in February of 2016, has tested 1,120,000 babies, and this number, I have to say, is not the most recent. So these numbers are from June, I think, so it's not from October, but they have diagnosed 64 males and 67 females. Minnesota, that came on board in February 2017, they've tested 113,800 and identified 11 males and 5 females. Pennsylvania, that followed in April of 2017, has tested 213,000 babies with 7 males and 5 females. Washington State, 2018 was a good year. We had a few states that came on board, and they've tested so far 51,000 babies with 3 males and 3 females. Tennessee started April, and 44,000 babies were tested. They've identified 1 male and no females to date. And Florida, I did not have the number of babies that tested, but they did start in May, and so far they've identified 1 male and 3 females. Nebraska, that followed in July of this year, 8,600, and they have yet, 0, yes. Kentucky, that started in August, 17,800 with 1 male and 0 females. Illinois, which had a law that was signed in 2015 but has yet to start. We're hoping now, because PerkinElmer has the FDA-approved newborn screening test, that they are scheduled to start screening in the first quarter of 2019. And Massachusetts, that has an ongoing pilot, and I'm not sure when that was started, but I just got the update today that they did identify a baby boy, and there's 2 girls that were identified in Massachusetts through the pilot. There is no definitive start date. Right now, it's currently an opt-in process, but we don't know when they will just go statewide. So as of 2014, or December of 2013, over 250 families have been diagnosed through newborn screening, and that's not counting siblings and other affected family members. So that's just an amazing result in just such a short amount of time. Some updates on some of the states that are coming through. Maryland, we're hoping will start in the first quarter of 2019, again, because of the PerkinElmer FDA-approved test. Utah, it looks like sometime in 2019 as well. Texas, it's scheduled for September 2019, so we hope that that will be true, since they're the second largest in the country with many babies born in that state. And then Ohio, sometime in 2019, probably in the later part of the year. So that's the updates for the states. And then the other thing I'd just like to add is that I had federal bills introduced in the floor 2016, which unfortunately didn't move anywhere, but the goal is to have ALD nationwide. They were introduced again April of this year and as a bipartisan bill in the House, but unfortunately they will not move forward in this Congress. But I hope to push them forward again in the new Congress in 2019. And again, this would be setting a precedent, so it's not something that I want just for ALD, but for any disease that has gone through the RUSP process and has been approved on the RUSP really should go nationwide. I mean, a baby's life should not depend on their zip code and where they live, because there's so many babies right now that are not identified because they're not living in one of these 10 states. So my hope is that that will happen in the future, and I just want to thank all the families that I've gotten to meet. I'm really grateful. And to all the doctors that I drive crazy with all the questions that I ask. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Elisa. And most, if not all of this information is available on the Aiden Jack Seeger Foundation websites. So check there if you want to follow up. Next